My brother told me, leave right now, you're embarrassing us at the family celebration, then threw the $3,500 catering bill at me while everyone watched. So I accepted it calmly, settled everything quietly, and stopped the $450,000 business loan I'd personally guaranteed that was keeping his company afloat. Before we begin, take a moment to subscribe, say hello below, and tell us where you're watching from. Your support truly means everything. Let's continue. The champagne flutes gleamed under the crystal chandelier as I walked into my brother Malik's anniversary party. 20 years of marriage to Vanessa, and they'd spared no expense. The venue was stunning. Marble floors, floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city, white roses everywhere. I'd arrived exactly on time, wearing the navy dress I'd bought specifically for tonight. My gift sat perfectly wrapped in silver paper, tucked under my arm. There she is, Malik called out, but something in his tone made my stomach clench. Not warmth. Something else. I smiled anyway, walking toward the family cluster near the bar. Mama stood there in her emerald gown, Daddy beside her looking distinguished as always. My younger sister Lisa smirked into her wine glass. That should have been my first warning. You made it, Vanessa said, air kissing near my cheek. Her perfume was suffocating. Of course. Wouldn't miss it. I handed Malik the gift. Inside was a custom photo album I'd spent weeks creating. 20 years of their memories professionally bound. Cost me $800 and countless hours scanning old photographs. Malik barely glanced at it before passing it to Vanessa. Thanks. Hey, we need to talk about something. The music swelled around us. Guests mingled, laughing. Everything looked perfect. But I could feel the shift in energy the way my family's eyes avoided mine. That familiar feeling crept up my spine, the one that said I was about to become the problem again. I had no idea how right I was. Sure, I said quietly. What's going on? It's about your appearance, Mama said, her voice low but cutting. She glanced around as if checking who might overhear. Baby, you couldn't have worn something more appropriate? I looked down at my dress. Navy blue, modest length, professional. I'd even had it tailored. What's wrong with what I'm wearing? It's not about what's wrong, Vanessa interjected, her smile tight. It's about what's right for our event. We have important people here. Investors. Business partners. Malik's company. Always his company. The tech startup I'd helped him launch 5 years ago with my retirement savings. The one currently surviving on the $450,000 business loan I'd personally guaranteed when banks wouldn't touch him. But we don't talk about that at parties. I think I look fine, I said, feeling defensive heat rise in my chest. That's the problem, sis. Lisa finally spoke, swirling her wine. You think you look fine. But this is a high-class event. Maybe you should have asked for guidance. The words hit like small, precise cuts. This was how it always went. Nothing direct enough to fight, but everything designed to make me feel less than. Smaller. Wrong. Daddy cleared his throat. Now girls, let's not. No, Daddy, she needs to hear this. Malik stepped closer, his voice dropping to that authoritative tone he'd perfected in boardrooms. We love you, but you embarrass us sometimes. The way you dress, the way you talk about money like it's everything. Tonight needs to go smoothly. My hands trembled slightly. I embarrass you? Look, we didn't want to do this here, Malik said, guiding me slightly away from the main crowd. His hand on my elbow felt like a trap. But since you're already making a scene. I'm not making a scene, I protested. You pulled me aside. Lower your voice. His eyes flashed with something cold. This wasn't my brother anymore. This was Sio Malik, the one who'd forgotten where he came from. Who forgot who'd believed in him when he was coding in Mama's basement, burning through unemployment checks. I remembered those days so clearly. Malik at 28, his first startup crashed, wife pregnant with their first child, depression eating him alive. I was the one who sat with him through those 3 a.m. panic attacks. Me who said, try again. I believe in you. Me who handed him $15,000 I'd saved for a down payment on a house. You know what? Vanessa appeared beside him and her presence felt choreographed. They'd planned this. We've been wanting to address something for a while now. Your constant reminders about the money you've loaned Malik. It's tacky. I started, but she cut me off. At Thanksgiving you mentioned the loan. At Mama's birthday, you mentioned your investment. Every family gathering, there you are, making sure everyone knows you're the saint who saved Malik. Her eyes were ice. That wasn't true. I'd mentioned it twice. Once when Daddy asked about Malik's business growth, once when my cousin asked for business advice. Both times, Malik had actually brought me into the conversation. But memory is selective when people need you to be the villain. Is that what you all think? I looked at Mama, then Daddy. That I'm throwing my help in Malik's face? Mama's expression was carefully neutral, the look she wore when she'd already chosen sides but wanted plausible deniability later. Daddy studied his shoes. Lisa texted someone, barely paying attention to my humiliation. We think, Malik said slowly, that you need to understand boundaries. This is my success. Yes, you helped early on and we're grateful. But you act like you built my company. I never said that. My voice cracked slightly and I hated myself for it. I'm proud of you, Malik. I've always been proud of you. Then prove it. He crossed his arms. Stop making everything about you and your money. Tonight is about me and Vanessa. Our 20 years. Our achievement. Can you, for once, just celebrate someone else without making it about what you've done? The injustice of it burned in my throat. I'd taken vacation days to help with party planning. I'd called vendors when they were too busy. I'd picked up Vanessa's mother from the airport yesterday because they had back-to-back meetings. But sure, this was me making things about myself. I don't know what I did to make you feel this way, I said carefully, but I apologize if... There it is. Lisa laughed, looking up from her phone. The fake apology. I'm sorry if you feel that way. Classic manipulation. I stared at my baby sister. 26 years old, never held a job longer than 8 months, currently living rent-free in a condo Daddy bought. But I was the manipulative one. Maybe you should leave, Malik said suddenly. The words dropped like stones into still water. Around us, party guests laughed and clinked glasses, oblivious to the execution happening in the corner. What? I couldn't have heard him right. Leave. Right now. You're embarrassing us. His face was stone. I tried to handle this quietly, but you're getting defensive and making a scene. I need you to go. The room tilted. Or maybe I did. Malik, I just got here. I haven't done anything. You're doing it right now. His voice rose slightly and several heads turned. He lowered it again, but his anger was palpable. This victim act. This wounded bird routine. I ask you for one thing, to not make tonight about you, and you can't even do that. Vanessa touched his arm, playing the concerned wife. Honey, maybe we should. No. He shook her off. She needs to hear this. You have 2 choices. You can leave quietly or you can stay and continue to embarrass yourself in this family. But if you stay, don't expect to be welcome at future family events. We're done walking on eggshells around you. Mama made a small sound, but she didn't defend me. Daddy looked away. Lisa smirked. Something crystallized in that moment. A clarity I'd been avoiding for years. This wasn't a misunderstanding. This wasn't a bad night. This was who they were. Who they'd maybe always been. And I'd been too busy being the dependable one, the helper, the fixer to see it. Okay, I said softly. I'll go. I turned to leave, dignity barely intact, when Malik called out, Oh, and one more thing. He pulled an envelope from his jacket pocket. The movement was theatrical, practiced. How long had he been carrying this, waiting for the right moment to humiliate me? Since you're leaving early, you can take this with you. He held out the envelope, and when I didn't immediately take it, he opened it himself. Papers fell out. Invoices, receipts, calculations in Vanessa's neat handwriting. The catering bill, he announced, loud enough now that nearby guests definitely heard. $3,500. Since you didn't contribute to the party planning, despite claiming you helped so much, the least you can do is cover the food. I stared at the papers scattered between us like accusation letters. You want me to pay for your anniversary party catering? I want you to contribute like an actual family member instead of a freeloader." His smile was cruel. "Unless that's too much to ask from someone who's always sacrificed so much for me?" Guess we're definitely watching now. I saw phones come out. Someone was recording. This was it. My public humiliation carefully orchestrated. They'd planned this. Every word, every move. They'd wanted me to leave, but they'd wanted me to leave broken first. Vanessa's mother watched with satisfaction. Lisa recorded on her phone, probably already composing the group chat message about drama queen sister. Mama whispered something to Daddy, her face arranged in practiced disappointment. And Malik stood there holding those papers like weapons, daring me to refuse. Something shifted inside me. That scared, people-pleasing part that always bent, always accommodated, always made myself smaller to make room for their egos. It went quiet. In its place, something cold and clear emerged. "You know what, Malik?" I took the envelope from his hand, my fingers steady. "I'll pay it. Every penny." His triumphant smirk faltered slightly. This wasn't the reaction he'd expected. He'd wanted tears, wanted me to beg, to argue, to give them more ammunition for the family group chat. More proof that I was difficult, emotional, unstable. I pulled out my phone and opened my banking app. Right there, in front of everyone, I transferred $3,500 to Vanessa's Venmo. Her phone dinged. She checked it, confusion flickering across her face. "Paid in full," I said calmly. "Is there anything else you need from me before I go?" Malik's jaw tightened. "That's it? No drama? No speech about how wronged you are? Would you like me to make a speech?" I asked. The calmness in my voice surprised even me. "Because I can list everything I've done for you, but you just accused me of doing exactly that. So no speech. Consider the catering my anniversary gift. The photo album too. Keep it all." I started walking toward the exit, my heels clicking against marble. Each step felt powerful, like reclaiming myself. Behind me, I heard Mama say something to Malik, heard Vanessa's sharp whisper. But I didn't turn back. At the door I paused, turned, looked at my brother one last time. "Congratulations on 20 years, Malik. I genuinely hope you have 20 more." Then I left. If you're enjoying this story, please like and subscribe for more real-life drama and family stories. My hands didn't shake until I was in my car. Then they trembled so violently I had to grip the steering wheel and breathe through it. The parking garage was dim, quiet except for the distant thump of bass from the party upstairs. My party dress felt like a costume now, something foolish I'd put on to play a role in someone else's production. I'd paid $3,500 to be told I was an embarrassment. To be thrown out of my own brother's celebration like trash. The woman who'd co-signed a $450,000 loan that was literally keeping his business from bankruptcy. But he didn't know I knew about the bankruptcy risk. His CFO was my college roommate's husband. Malik didn't know we'd had coffee last month. "The loan's keeping us afloat," David had said, stirring sugar into his cappuccino. "Malik is brilliant, but he's drowning in overhead. That equipment financing deal fell through and we're bleeding cash. If you hadn't guaranteed that loan, we'd have folded by now. Don't tell him I told you, but you saved his ass." I'd felt proud then. Validated. My baby brother succeeding because I'd believed in him. Now sitting in this parking garage, that pride curdled into something uglier. He'd taken my money, my faith, my time, my love, and turned me into the villain of his story. My phone buzzed. The family group chat, which I'd somehow never been removed from despite being the problem child. Lisa had sent the video she'd taken. 32 seconds of Malik handing me the bill, me standing there looking shocked. She'd captioned it, "When you finally call out a narcissist." I drove home in a daze, that video playing in my mind on loop. Narcissist. That's what I was to them now. Not the sister who'd put Malik through coding boot camp when he couldn't afford it. Not the daughter who drove Mama to every chemo appointment during her cancer scare 3 years ago while Lisa was too emotional to handle hospitals. Not the aunt who paid for my nephew's specialized tutoring when Malik and Vanessa were too stressed to deal with his learning disability. I was the narcissist. The embarrassment. The problem. My apartment was dark and quiet. I'd lived here for 8 years. A modest two-bedroom I could have upgraded if I hadn't spent my savings helping family. The photo albums from childhood sat on my bookshelf. I pulled one down, flipped through images of Malik and me as kids. He was grinning, gap-toothed, holding the science fair trophy I'd helped him win. I was 14, he was 11, and I'd stayed up for 3 nights helping him build that volcano because he'd procrastinated until the last minute. "You're the best big sister ever," he'd said then, hugging me tight. When did that sister become an embarrassment? My laptop sat on the coffee table. I opened it, pulled up my banking records and looked at the numbers I'd been avoiding. The loan I'd guaranteed for Malik wasn't just a signature on paper. If his company went under, I was liable. Personally liable. For $450,000. My retirement account, $180,000. My savings, $43,000. My home equity, maybe $120,000 if I was lucky. I'd destroyed my financial future for a brother who just publicly humiliated me for sport. Monday morning I called David. "I need to talk to you about Malik's loan. Officially." His side told me everything. "I was wondering when you'd reach out. What happened at the party made the rounds." "I'm sorry. Did Malik tell everyone his version?" "I already knew the answer. He said you caused a scene, demanded money, made everything about you. But I know you." "That doesn't sound right." David paused. "Listen, I shouldn't tell you this, but as a friend, you need to protect yourself. The company's in worse shape than I let on last time. We're 60 days from defaulting on the loan unless we get emergency capital. Malik is applying for a second round of funding, but the numbers don't look good. 60 days. 2 months from financial ruin because I'd loved my brother. What happens if he defaults?" As though I knew. "They come after you. Your assets, your credit, everything. And Malik." David's voice dropped. "He's already told Vanessa that if it comes to that, they'll declare bankruptcy. Their assets are protected in her name. You'd lose everything while he walks away clean." The betrayal was so complete it almost didn't hurt. Almost. "David, I need you to tell me something honestly. Does Malik know I'm the only thing keeping his company alive?" Silence. Then, "Yes. We had a board meeting last month. He knows exactly what you've put on the line for him." So he knew. He'd known when he invited me to that party. Known when he orchestrated my humiliation. Known when he threw that bill at me. He'd taken my sacrifice and turned it into a weapon against me. Tuesday morning I walked into First National Bank at exactly 9 a.m. I'd dressed in my best suit, the one I wore for important client meetings in my consulting business. Professional. Unshakable. "I need to speak with someone about a business loan I've personally guaranteed," I told the receptionist. "It's urgent." They put me in a small conference room with Tom Martinez, the senior loan officer who'd processed Malik's original application. He remembered me. "Miss Thompson. What can I help you with?" "I want to withdraw my personal guarantee on loan account number 8847392. The business loan for Malik Tech Solutions." Tom's eyebrows rose. "That's highly unusual. May I ask why?" I'd practiced this part. The borrower and I have had a significant change in our relationship. I'm no longer comfortable bearing the financial risk for his business ventures. I have documentation if needed about the current state of our relationship and my concerns about the company's viability. Tom pulled up the account. His face grew serious as he reviewed it. "Miss Thompson, this is going to trigger immediate action. The loan is contingent on your guarantee. If you withdraw it, we'll have to call the loan due immediately or require the business to find alternative collateral within 30 days. They're already on a watch list for concerning financial indicators." "I understand," I said. My voice didn't waver. "How long will the process take?" "I'll need to escalate this to my manager, but probably 72 hours for the paperwork. We'll send official notice to the business owner." "Perfect. Please proceed." Malik's call came Thursday at 6:47 p.m. I was making dinner, just pasta and vegetables, eating alone like I did most nights. When his name flashed on my screen, I let it ring twice before answering. Collected. "What the hell did you do?" He was screaming. Actually screaming. "The bank called. They're pulling my loan. They said you withdrew your guarantee. Are you insane? I made a business decision, Malik. Just like you did when you decided I was an embarrassment. A business decision? You're destroying my company. You're destroying my family's future. Over what? Hurt feelings from a party. I set down my knife, wiped my hands carefully. Over you throwing a $3,500 catering bill at me in front of 50 people and telling me to leave because I embarrass you. Over you taking my retirement savings, my financial future, and turning me into the villain while I kept your dream alive. I'm done being your safety net while you treat me like I'm worthless. You selfish bitch. His voice broke. Do you know what this means? I have 30 days to find $450,000 or lose everything. My house, my cars, my company. Everything. And Vanessa is pregnant again. We have another baby coming. Something in me should have softened at that news. Should have. But all I felt was tired. Congratulations on the baby. I'm sure you'll figure out the money. You're brilliant, remember? A self-made success. You don't need me. Mama was right about you, he hissed. She said you always had to be the center of attention. That you couldn't stand to see anyone else succeed. Is that what she said? I asked quietly. Did she mention that I drove her to chemo? That I paid her mortgage for 6 months when Daddy was between jobs? Malik showed up at my apartment Friday night. I heard him before I saw him, his fist pounding on my door, his voice ragged with panic. Please. Please, we need to talk. I'll apologize. I'll make it right. Just don't do this. I opened the door. He looked destroyed. Unshaven, eyes red, still in yesterday's clothes. Behind him stood Vanessa crying. And behind her, Mama. Baby girl, Mama started using the voice that used to melt me. We need to talk about this as a family. There's nothing to talk about, I said. Malik made his position clear. I'm an embarrassment who makes everything about myself. So I'm removing myself. Completely. I was wrong, Malik sobbed. Actually sobbed. I was stressed about the business and I took it out on you. Vanessa was in my ear about money, about appearances, and I listened to her instead of remembering everything you've done for me. Please. I'm begging you. Vanessa stepped forward, mascara streaked. I pushed him to do it. I was jealous. Jealous that he always talked about his brilliant big sister who saved him. I wanted to be the only woman he admired. I'm so sorry. The apologies continued. Mama cried. Lisa texted saying she deleted the video, that it was just a joke. Daddy called, his voice heavy with disappointment. In Malik for once, not me. They all wanted me to be reasonable. To be the bigger person. To sacrifice again like I always had. No, I said simply. You showed me who you are. I believe you now. I closed the door. Listened to them beg from the hallway for 20 minutes before they finally left. Sat in the dark of my apartment and cried, not for them but for the family I'd thought I had. The one that never really existed. 6 months later, Malik's company filed for bankruptcy. He and Vanessa divorced. He moved back home with Mama and Daddy. Sometimes I see his friend requests on social media, his texts that say, I understand now, and I wish I'd appreciated you. I don't respond. I'm building my own life now. Consulting business growing. New friends who value me. Therapy every Tuesday. And some days I don't think about them at all. That's not the happy ending people want. But it's the honest one. Sometimes the family you're born into isn't your family at all. And walking away even when it costs everything, is the only way to find peace. The loan money, I never got it back. But I got myself back. And that was worth more than $450,000. Thank you for reading this story. If you've ever had to set boundaries with toxic family, please share your experience in the comments. You're not alone and your healing matters. Like and subscribe for more real stories about family, betrayal, and finding yourself again. Remember, you don't owe anyone access to you just because you share blood.